Hello, ladies, and welcome to today's Women in Business workshop, where we are continuing our launch theme. So if you are here live, let me know where you are joining us from and what business you are currently running. And I might be able to give some specific advice for your industry as we go along. If you're watching on the replay, hello to you all, and thank you for watching. So today we are continuing with our Women in Business theme for this month, which, as you know, is all about launching. I know you've learned lots and lots up until now on the previous workshops. And today we're looking specifically at the tech behind a launch. So I'll be talking to you all about the different software and systems that I use and giving you a couple of examples of how to set things up and the different types of software that you might be using that I use myself or in some of my clients' launches. So a brief introduction from me. Many of you would have seen me before as part of the Women in Business team, and many of you might have already seen some of my previous workshops that I've done with Raymonda. But for those of you that don't know me yet, hello, my name is Katie Colella. I'm a business mentor and a Facebook ads and sales funnel strategist. So I work with predominantly women in business, helping them with all the techie side of things and getting all their systems set up and making sure that their launches run as smoothly as possible. So I've been working with many women in business for many years on their launches, and I've had lots of different businesses myself as well for the last 20 plus years. So lots of experience in this field. And like I said, we're going to run through today some of the different systems that I believe you need to have up in place for your launches. And then we're going to have a little bit of a list at the end of it to give you a bit of a summary. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments, and I'll answer them as I go if I can, or if we're going to be looking at that later on as part of the presentation, then I'll answer them as we go, and I'll give you some time at the end if you have any other questions that I haven't covered as well. So let me share my presentation and we can get started in terms of taking a look at the tech behind a launch. So how many of you have already attempted a launch, or how many of you are planning? Let me know in the comments when your next launch is being planned. I know there's lots of launches being planned for September of this year, when things hopefully get back to some kind of normality. The children hopefully go back to school as planned. And hopefully it's kind of like the second new year, isn't it, September? So a lot of business owners do launch new items and new products and services in September, because it's almost that last kind of let's go for it before the end of the year and a new year starts as well. So as I said, in today's workshop, we're going to be looking at all the tech and the systems you may need for your launch. So we've been talking about launching this month, successfully to your audience, to nurture. Today, we're looking specifically at the tech side of things. So many clients come to me and they feel stuck when it comes to the tech side of things. They don't progress because the fear of all the moving parts that go into a launch, and that tech side of things is holding them back. I spoke to a lady yesterday and she just said, I've launched something really, really softly. I want to do it kind of full on and properly, but every time I look at all the different tech needed, it just holds me back. So it can be hugely overwhelming, I think, for a lot of people when you haven't done it before, or you haven't kind of utilized all the tech in a full launch. But it doesn't have to be. We can break it down and we can make things a bit easier. You don't have to have absolutely every piece of software out there. You can just use the bare minimum to make sure these things work and make it as smooth as possible as well. And if tech isn't your thing, then outsource to someone who can help you do that as well. There's plenty of amazing people out there to help in that environment if it's not your thing. So we're going to break down all the different systems or the types of systems that you may need that I use myself or I use with clients, so we can take a look at them all individually and all the different platform systems, tools, app systems that I use to create my own and clients' launches. So right at the beginning are graphics. So if you're not using Canva, where have you been? I'm sure you all are more than aware of Canva, and I know Claire, our amazing team member, is an absolute expert at Canva. She creates the most beautifully branded graphics for the Women in Business team. I use Canva most days to create graphics for lots and lots of different parts of our launches. So for our Facebook ads, I will use various different graphics to test on our Facebook ads. For our email headers, throughout the challenge, throughout the webinars, throughout my launch, when I'm telling people about my offer, in my teachable area where I actually have my full offer, in downloadables, in PDFs, in checklists, I'll create lots of different graphics in Canva, or the whole guide itself. My landing pages, thank you pages, and sales pages, they are all needing to look pretty and branded. So I quite often create the graphics in Canva there. For my free guides and presentations as I go, social media posts. I would recommend Canva Pro, incidentally, as you get a gorgeous selection of included images there and features and elements that really up level that look, and they kind of take it from, I think, what looks quite amateur sometimes to looking really, really professional. So just flicking back, check I have no questions. No, there's no questions there at the moment. So Canva for me is an absolute must. And like I said, we're just going to go through my kind of absolute must tech options for getting your launch ready. Next up is organization and storage. Now, I tend to use Google Drive. Again, there's lots of other ways you can do this. You could have an Asana or Trello board. You can use Dropbox. You can use whatever works for you. If you're starting and you want to kind of follow what I'm using, then I'm a massive fan of Google Drive. It's a great idea to keep somewhere where you can keep all the information in one place about your launch. So for instance, for myself, I have a folder for each new client that signs up with me. And within there, we might have various folders with various launches. Within that launch folder, again, we might have more subfolders to do with, for instance, Facebook ads, to do with landing pages, to do with email nurture sequences. And if things like sales pages and email nurture sequences are kind of, you're finding overwhelming in themselves, do go and check out the other training in the Women in Business portal, because there are other training specifically on sales funnels and so forth, which explains in a little bit more detail exactly what a sales funnel is and an email nurture sequence and all these other words that I'm using, so that you get more familiar with exactly what you're looking at when I'm talking about these things. So in these folders, I keep images and graphics, the branding that my client supplies, their logos and so forth. I map out my launches, so we keep that there so both myself and my client can see the map for the launches. We might design our emails and keep them there. Not necessarily the design element, because I'd probably do that directly in the software that I'm using. But in terms of the content, if you have some ideas or you have some templates for emails, that's where I'd keep those. Any documents or freebies that we're sharing during the launch, I would keep those there. Any links, and I'll give you some idea of the type of links that you need to get together later. Anything for my Facebook ads, so I plan out my Facebook ads in terms of the copy, in terms of the audience, ideal clients, headlines, images, that type of thing. I would have all organized in my Google Drive folder for this particular client and that particular launch, so we know exactly what we're looking at, and everyone can have access to that is part of the team. So if you have you're working with someone else, then they can have access. If you use a VA or anyone that helps out, they can all have access to this as well. So organization is key. Next up are landing pages and thank you pages. So to give you an idea of how your launch might work, it would normally work with a freebie of some kind. This might just be the opt-in for a free challenge, for instance, a free webinar, or some kind of other free offering that gives value and nurture, and it's something specific that that person is looking for in exchange for that email address, and this is where the launch starts. So sometimes it'll be referred to, instead of a lead magnet, as a launch magnet, because it's something specific you're putting in place for them to come and kind of get into your launch, even though they're not necessarily aware that it is a launch for you. It might well be. So free challenges, for instance, are really, really popular at the moment. But no matter how you decide to launch and what you decide that this free offer and value might be, you will have to have something or somewhere in place for them to sign up for that free offer. And then later on, the actual paid offer, which is classed as a sales page. So generally a landing page is the one that you would have seen yourselves if you've signed up for challenges or workshops, masterclasses, that type of thing. And this is generally, you know, something for a free offer. So it's given something of value in exchange for their email address. That would normally have kind of no distractions. It is literally just that one call to action. And then a sales page is got that bit more. That's normally for the paid offer. So you'd have things like what the offer is all about. So if it's a course or a membership, what it entailed, how that was presented, the features, the benefits, you know, how much that is going to cost you, some testimonials, and all the longer information. So the sales page is the ones that you scroll further down when you're on them and you've got more information from. So there are many different ways to do this, and obviously there's different options for the tech side of things. So I just want to list some of the most popular. I'm not going to go into absolutely every system you can use for landing pages and thank you pages because it will be overwhelming. Lead Pages is my preferred system that I tend to use predominantly. It's a purely a landing page or page builder. So it sits outside of your website. The conversion rates are generally really good. It has some amazing features that makes it really user-friendly to use. And you can whip up some amazing landing pages, thank you pages, and sales pages really quite easily. It's quite user-friendly. And like I said, they look really good. And it integrates in most of the major systems that, again, you might possibly be using alongside your launch. Kartra is another option that is becoming more and more popular at the moment. So Kartra is a bit of an all-in-one platform. So if you go to Kartra, the pricing's really good on it, and you can actually do most of the things that we're talking about in this one platform. So you can do your landing page, thank you pages, sales pages, email nurture sequences. You can host courses there. You can host memberships there. So actually it has quite a lot of features that you might be looking at, especially as your business grows. So that's one to definitely check out. Kajabi is another one of a bit of an all-in-one tool that's really good. A lot of people will just stick to something like, if they have WordPress or their own website, they will create their own landing pages and thank you pages and sales pages on their own website. If you're doing that, just make sure you remove all the menu bar at the top and also any sidebars, because you don't want to distract people. You want them just to see what the offer that we're talking about or the freebie that we're talking about at that time is. And ClickFunnels is another very popular platform for landing pages and thank you pages, but a bit more expensive than the likes of Lead Pages. Next up to the landing pages and sales pages and thank you pages, you need to think about your email nurture sequences and what platform you're going to use to host those. So again, there's a full sales funnel training, if I'm just talking another language to you, in the Women in Business members platform. But a brief introduction is one of those automated sequences that when someone signs up for example, your free challenge, you would send them into a automation that would send them a sequence of emails out to them that you'd plan in advance. It doesn't have to be mega techy. And again, lots of the systems that I use are really, really user-friendly, and they kind of guide you through as you go. So you might have a series of nurture emails, then you might send someone, if for example you're having a challenge, you might send somebody a daily email throughout a challenge, and then you might send them some launch emails telling them that your cart is open for your launch, sending, you know, daily updates and so forth, and then telling them that your cart is about to close. So when someone has signed up for that freebie, challenge or webinar, whatever that launch magnet is, you would then add them into a specific list in your email marketing software. So like I said, check out that sales funnel training. This would then trigger a series of emails to be sent out to them. So you may have some nurture in the lead up to the launch. You might have daily emails. You might send them, you know, all different places depending on their actions, but it doesn't have to be as techy as you may think. It can be quite straightforward. So these would be set up in advance, and then they go out automatic throughout your launch period. So the more organized you are with these types of things, the easier the launch is, and it doesn't have to be really stressful and kind of all-consuming. Yes, you're going to put time aside during your launch, absolutely, but it doesn't need to. You don't need to be worrying about the tech side of things, because most of that will be done in advance. So some of the tech options that you may be aware of, you may have heard of, ActiveCampaign, that's again my preferred system, my email nurture sequence for email marketing platform, we'd set up the email nurture sequences in. Again, really, really user-friendly. And it's got a lovely way of displaying the kind of flow chart, if you like, so you can see visibly exactly the steps that you've got set up, specific dates and so forth. And it's got a nice designer to make your emails look really good as well. MailChimp is a very basic platform that a lot of people get started with for sales funnels, launches, and so forth. Yes, it is basic, and I find a lot of people quickly become tired with it. But also don't let that hold you back from going forward. But if I was to recommend anything, I find ActiveCampaign the best. There are hundreds and hundreds of email marketing systems out there, such as MailerLite, Constant Contact. There's loads and loads and loads. Kartra and Kajabi, as I mentioned in the previous slide, are an all-in-one platform. So Kartra, especially at the moment, I find is a nice, easy-to-use platform that you can kind of do pretty much everything that we're speaking about in this one platform. So if tech is not your friend and it's not an area you find easy, then I would definitely go and check that out, because it does a lot of the different things that we're talking about. Even though you have to still do those elements, it's within that one platform, which obviously makes it a little bit easier. Marketing. So in this particular section, Facebook ads. If you're using and you choose to use Facebook and Instagram ads as part of your marketing, and they can be amazingly powerful if utilized and set up correctly. Always ensure your Facebook pixel is installed correctly and active on all pages that you're sending traffic to, so you can track conversions. As a general rule of thumb, I would absolutely install your pixel on your website, on any landing pages that you have set up now. So anywhere that you're sending traffic, get that pixel installed. Even if you're not launching yet and you've got a website that's sat there, make sure that pixel is installed, because it can start feeding and seeding that the pixel for you and giving it data that we can then reuse later on. So for launches, there's different ways that you might use Facebook ads. So you may look at setting up some video view ads, for instance, to warm up your audience and create a bit of authority, get you on people's radar, so get your face in front of people. And these are just seen as value ads. So you'd have some video views set up. It wouldn't necessarily be a strong call to action. It would just be a case of here I am, this is my authority, I am the expert in this. And then you'd show those same people that have seen this free, this kind of just a value video, you would then later on tell them about your challenge or webinar or whatever it is that you're asking them to join in. And then you can also retarget people that have shown an interest or taken certain actions. So, for example, you have done a free challenge, you can then retarget those same people that have signed up for that challenge with another ad saying, have you checked out my offer? If you can target people who have checked out your offer and say, are you still thinking about it? Are you still on the fence? How can I help? Let's jump on a call. You can do all these really, really powerful things utilizing the power of pixels. I would say make sure you're testing your ads, so utilizing video, different images and graphics, different copy, headlines and audiences. Do test different things, to see what works and what doesn't work. If it's not performing, then test something else to see what is going to work and get you those conversions. Another thing to mention are messenger bots. I'm pretty sure there's a full training on messenger bots in the Women in Business membership as well, so do check it out. But if you're not using messenger bots in your launches, they're an absolutely amazing tool to go along with a launch. So I personally use ManyChat, and Carrie, who is also part of the Women in Business team, is an absolute expert on ManyChat. And she sets up all our team messenger bots for us. So things like reminding people when you are live on a free challenge works really, really well, because the open rates on a messenger bot, I think they're 95% open rate. So pretty much if you get a messenger message through, you do open it there and then. If that's saying to you, because you've opted in and you've requested these reminders, if that's saying, I'm just about to go live, it's a great little reminder to go, oh yeah, fab, I really want to catch this live training, and you're going to go in at that stage. There's a lot more to bots that I'm not going to go into today, but just wanted to make you aware it's a platform that I use and most of my clients use, and we certainly use in Women in Business as well, because you can add people into flows and sequences that are really, really intuitive. And again, very, very clever with what you can get them to do. So do check out ManyChat if you haven't already. Next up, I wanted to mention video. So all through, not just your launches probably, but certainly during your launch, you may be thinking about using video, and you'd be right to. So video for your Facebook and Instagram ads, for instance. Incidentally, if you're using video for your for Instagram stories and Facebook stories, they can be no longer than 15 seconds. Just record it on your phone in portrait mode to get the best result. And it's just literally something short and sweet. They can be a bit longer if your placements are going to be on the feed. You might want to utilize video on your sales page to tell people what it's all about, what your challenge is all about, what the offer is all about, whether it's course, membership, program, one-on-one. You might want to record sales pages to tell people what exactly it is all about. Video during a challenge. You might pre-record your videos. You might do a daily task and add it into the units in your Facebook group. So you need to think about how your launch magnet is going to be delivered. Your freebie might be a masterclass or a video series. So think about the type of video that you might want throughout the whole launch and plan in advance. Especially if your business or brand is the type of business or brand that, you want to look a bit more groomed, then think about that in advance. I'm a bit more on the fly type person, so I don't tend to worry too much about hair and makeup and so forth, but think about these things if that's important to you. If you're delivering your offer, if it's a course, for instance, there might well be some of that course that is delivered as a video. I don't believe you have to have your whole, if you are talking about a course, your course, ready before selling, but do start thinking about that in terms of what video you are going to need. So like I said, I record videos for my ads on my phone. Any masterclasses or short tutorials, I usually use Loom, which is a Chrome extension, or Zoom, and just record either just myself talking, or I can share screen if I want to as well, and actually give a real hands-on workshop and share the screen and showing what I'm doing throughout my courses and so forth. If you want to pre-record your videos and you want them to be hosted somewhere to share on your landing pages, then go and host your videos in YouTube or Vimeo. List them as unlisted. So people, if they happen to pop along on your YouTube channel, they can't view them. But people with that link or embedded on a sales page, for instance, they can go and view them. So you'll need an embed code if you're going to put them on your landing or sales pages, and you'll need the link from YouTube or Vimeo if you're going to share them into your emails. So I normally host any kind of pre-recorded videos in YouTube, and also video testimonials. If some of your wonderful clients have given you some video feedback, then you can host those on YouTube as well, again, to share all across your marketing. That might be your sales pages, your emails, your Facebook ads even. So keep all those as well. Keep all that sort of stuff in your Google Drive when you're planning out your launch. So you've got them all kind of ready to go and grab if you need to last minute. I find going live on Facebook can be a bit glitchy, and it always tries to get you to change your browser, even if you're using kind of the most updated Chrome. So more recently, I've been started to use StreamYard for videos, which is another really easy tool to set up. You log in, you connect your Facebook or wherever you want to go live. You go into a green room to get ready. You can share banners of information, and it just streams straight into your Facebook group for you. So in this presentation today, in this workshop, we're using Crowdcast, which is another great tool that can stream directly into a Facebook group or Facebook page, but StreamYard is the one that I tend to use to deliver, for instance, my challenge information. So check that one out. Delivery. So we need to think about the different platforms that how we're going to deliver our end offer. So if your end offer is one-on-one calls, for instance, then usually it would just maybe be a Zoom call. But think about your end offer for your launch and how you're going to deliver it. So it might just be a series of live calls, or it might be something a bit more complex or a bit more to it. So if it was a course, for instance, look at platforms that are out there such as Teachable, Thinkific, Kartra, Kajabi, that you can host your guides and your videos and so forth in. Again, excuse the typo. If you're delivering a membership, what options are you going to look at there? There's lots of plugins and things like that as well that you can use for your memberships and courses if you just want it bolted onto your website. But do investigate those in advance so you have a platform in mind and got that started and ready before you kind of start getting launch ready. And think about how you're going to deliver that content. So is it going to be all downloadables, resources, PDF guides? Do you need to design those in Canva, or have you got them ready? Are you going to be doing videos? Are they going to be live on Zoom, or are you going to pre-record and pop them into the course using Zoom or Loom? Are you just doing live presentations? Do you need to put some graphics in there? How exactly, what type of content you're going to have in for your offer? And don't also forget about how you'll deliver any bonuses. So many of us on our launch will have some bonuses. If you sign up by this date, you get this extra free. How are you going to deliver those? So bear that one in mind as well. Next up, something I wanted to cover, very, very important, are payment processes. So when it comes to our offer, how are you going to take payment? How can people pay you? They're ready. They love what you've done. They've loved all the value you've given them. They're ready to sign up on this amazing offer you've given them. But how do they pay? So popular options, probably Stripe and PayPal are probably the two biggest. WorldPay is another popular one. Now, these can be integrated with most of the systems that I've talked about today. For instance, on lead page, you can embed a Stripe checkout directly on that sales page, so it looks completely organic. If somebody paid for something, they would be their payment would be processed in the back end on Stripe, and they'd be added to a new list, for instance, in Active Campaign, and then a welcome email might go out to welcome them into that course or whatever they've paid for. So that's how that would work. I've personally just started using Thrivecart as well for my checkout pages, which is a specific cart platform that uses Stripe for payments or PayPal. But I tend to integrate Stripe with it. And that is a specific, just a cart platform. So you can create your kind of checkout pages with that as well. But I've only just started using that. It's certainly not unnecessary. It's probably an additional piece of software I'm using in different styles of launches, such as low offer launches where you have a bump offer and you're upselling. So that's a little bit different. But with your standard kind of launches, do think about how you're going to take payment. Some people just take payment over the phone. If you're getting people on phone calls before they sign up, and that's absolutely fine as long as you have a way of taking that payment and setting that up. And think as well if you're going to take the payments in full or you're going to offer payment plans as well. So have all that kind of ready in your mind before you go. There's a few extra tools and tech that I wanted to mention before I run through some examples of how that tech would look and how it would work. So if you are offering calls to people, a lot of the time if you've got an offer, especially if it's higher in price, people might not be prepared to just pay straight away and sign up. They might want to pick your brains, to ask some more questions. So online diary booking systems such as Calendly, Acuity, 10 to 8, if you want to give the option for someone to call with you, hot seat calls are really popular if people just want to pop on a 15-minute call to ask you some questions and see if the offer is for them. Bitly, I'm sure you're all familiar with, is to create a smaller URL. And it makes it a lot easier, number one, if you're sticking it, for instance, on your stories on Instagram, you know, and you've got a really long URL, it makes it a lot easier for people to remember because it's not necessarily clickable unless you've got a certain amount of followers on Instagram, for instance. And also for tracking, if you've got different bit.ly set up, you can see kind of where some of the traffic's come from. Zapier, or Zapier, I never quite know, is a third-party tool to integrate systems that can't directly kind of talk to one another. So sometimes you get systems, most of the systems I've talked about today, and I've specifically tried to use systems that I use that do organically talk to one another. However, there are sometimes you come across things or you're using a system that don't integrate directly with one another. And that's where Zapier comes in, and you can create Zaps, which is just a third-party tool to make A talk to B streamlined. So do if you're using certain systems that you know you can't get to speak one to the other, check out Zapier because it can do pretty much most things A to B. Facebook groups. So if you're hosting a challenge, for instance, they're usually hosted in Facebook groups. Or are you offering a Facebook group as part of your offer? So a lot of times, if you're in a group program, for instance, are you offering a community, a Facebook group as part of that? Are you offering a Facebook group as your membership or a course community? A lot of people do that. So do think about that in advance as well. And affiliate software was something else I just wanted to mention. Really helpful if you're running an affiliate scheme to track where the traffic's coming from, who are using what links, which affiliate links, and obviously to track the affiliate's earning. So you can pay those out at the end of it as well. Just check if there's any questions. No, there's no questions coming in at the moment. So a summary of the platforms that I use for my launches, because I have gone through lots of different tech offers with you. I use Lead Pages, Thrivecart, which is not unnecessary in this list. Active Campaigns, so Lead Pages for my landing pages, thank you pages, and sales pages. Active Campaign, that then integrates with Active Campaign, who I use for my email nurture sequences. I use ManyChat for my messenger bot reminders. I use Canva to create any graphics. I use YouTube to host any videos. I use Stripe to take payments. I'll use Teachable if I am hosting any courses that is what the offer is on that particular instance. A Facebook Ads Manager to create my Facebook ads. Google Drive to keep everything organized. I use Zoom or Loom for my videos, and I use Bitly if I want to create some shorter, prettier, easier to remember and trackable links. So that's my summary. And I just wanted to run through a challenge launch plan for you. This is for a course. So just wanted to show you in hopefully an easier to understand format. So this is a course plan or launch plan for a course that is going to be a challenge where I'm having a challenge through to a course. So the challenge is going to be hosted in the Facebook group. I'm going to go live daily using StreamYard. I'm going to design my graphics in Canva. I'm going to keep my content in the Google Drive. And I wanted to try and show you how all these platforms come together. So my Facebook and Instagram ads and social and emails are all going to drive traffic to my challenge opt-in page, which is then linked across to my thank you page. So when someone signs up for my challenge, they're going to see the thank you page, and they're all hosted in Lead Pages. Now, when someone signs up for that challenge, they're going to also get added to a list in Active Campaign for an email sequence. And I'm going to send them out a welcome email. And I'm going to say, welcome to my challenge. And I'm then going to send them a series of daily emails throughout that challenge. Now, throughout that challenge week, I'm also going to send them a series of daily messenger prompts to let them know that I'm going live. And I'm going to do that using ManyChat. I'm going to show video testimonials. I might use these in my emails, on my social media, in the challenge group, Facebook ads, and I'm going to host those videos in YouTube. At the end of that week, after the challenge is coming to a close, I'm going to start to introduce the offer. Maybe I'm going to introduce the offer on the Thursday before. If I run a challenge Monday to Friday, I might start introducing the offer or talking about the offer on the Wednesday or the Thursday. So I'm going to start talking about that offer in my emails, on my social media, especially in the Facebook group where I have the challenge going on, and on my messenger bot. I'm going to send people, when I introduce that offer, to a sales page, which again I've set up in Lead Pages. And I'm going to give people the opportunity to book a call with me to come and have a call and have a chat and see if the offer is right for them. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to book a call with me using something like Calendly. Now back to the sales page where all the information about my course in this instance is held. So I've got my features, my benefits, my testimonials, investment choices, dates of when my course is going to start, how it's going to be delivered to them. I'm going to have a button to take payment using Stripe, or I'm going to have an actual embedded checkout section so I can take that payment. When they sign up, that's going to add them to, they're going to take the payment in the back end of Stripe, and that's going to add them to a new list in ActiveCampaign, which is then going to send them a welcome email with the access information, all still in ActiveCampaign. And in that content, in that email, it's going to give them the access content, which is then going to take them over to Teachable and tell them how to access that content for my course. So I thought it would just help having this little kind of diagram about the flow of how that works from advertising and starting that challenge right through to the course in this instance, which is being delivered at the end of our launch. So when I'm planning my launches, like I said, for myself or my clients, there's a few things that I try and plan and organize in advance. So as we're going through, I always keep a plan of links, because links are a nightmare. They get lost, especially if you're working with clients. I do it for myself anyway, absolutely, when you're starting off, but especially if you are helping others, or you have a team helping you, it's really, really handy to have a list of links in one place in your Google Drive, so it's all nice and organized. Winnie, what kind of software can you recommend for affiliate links? I haven't got anyone set up at the moment for affiliate links. I'd have to come back to you and see what software there is. I haven't used anything for quite a while with clients, so I'd have to take a look. I know there's the option to have affiliate links in Kartra, which is an all-in-one platform that I've mentioned a few times. And there's definitely the option to have that there. And I'm pretty sure you can set up affiliates on Thrivecart as well. But it's not something I particularly use. And I haven't really done many affiliates with clients. So if anyone watching uses a software in particular, do let us know in the comments, and we can share with Winnie. But check out Kartra, because that definitely does have an option for affiliate links. So when you're popping your links in your plan, if you did have affiliate links as well, Winnie, I'd be absolutely keep a list of those separately. But landing page link, your thank you page link, your sales page, your Facebook group, and that could be a couple of Facebook groups. That could be where your challenge is taking place. And then if you have a community group for the end offer, you might have a separate one. Your Calendly link or your online diary, your ManyChat link for people to sign up to be notified with messenger reminders. If you want to share links to your Facebook ads, so you can check those out. Any YouTube video links that you've got in there hosted, or testimonials, and also your embed codes if you're embedding them on sales pages. And of course, your link where the content is being held, if that's Teachable for your course, for instance, or your membership, your links there. And this will make it really easy, rather than scratching around looking for different links at different times and going into different platforms. If you've got a list of your links, it will make it much, much easier. Launch plan checklist as well. I just wanted to go through a few bits. It's not exhaustive. There's probably stuff I've missed off myself, but it's certainly a good place to start off with. There might be some other bits additionally you need to add on for your own launches, but this will give you a good idea and a good starting point of things to add on and to look for when you are getting started with your own launch. So we have got landing page. Has that been done? A thank you page. Has that been done? And are they integrated? You want, obviously, it's no good having them separate. You need those to be linked. So your landing page always is automatically driven to the thank you page. Are the pixels installed on all of these? Is the sales page ready, where you're telling people all about that amazing offer that you have to offer them at the end of the value you've given them? Are your pages, are all of these linked across your email marketing software to the right list that leads to a certain automation or leads to a certain action? Is your ManyChat set up with your welcome message or flows and daily messages, and have you got that URL ready to share in all your marketing? Is your Stripe or whoever you're using for your payments, are your products set up and are they linked and embedded into your sales page ready to take those payments? Is your call diary set up, such as Calendly? Is your course or end offer, depending on what your end offer is it set up or mapped out? Do you know what you're going to be delivering? You're saying, have you got it kind of, even if it's not fully done, is it kind of mapped out and ready so you know what it is you're offering? Have you got your testimonials gathered? Again, another little folder within the folder of all those videos, all the screenshot, all those lovely juicy bits that people tell you how wonderful you are. Make sure you're getting screenshots of those. Is your social media planned? Scheduled maybe, or if you've got someone helping you, doing it yourself? Do you know all the types of posts you want to share? Have you mapped those out and planned those out? Have you got your graphics ready to go with everything that you need graphics for? Are your Facebook ads planned? Have you planned the copy, the images, the headlines, the audiences, your ideal clients? Get all that planned in advance. Get your audiences set up. You can set up custom conversions ready for your Facebook ads. And you know the plan and the strategy for your Facebook ads. Have you got a new list set up for your challenge that are going to lead people through a funnel? And then have you got a different list set up for when someone takes you up on that amazing offer and you're going to send them into another funnel that is going to at least deliver them a welcome message? So you've got those, automated email sequences set up for both. Have you got videos recorded for your ads, for your sales pages, for your emails, for your social links? Obviously, a lot of this can be repurposed. You don't necessarily need separate for all of these, but there will be different types of videos that you will need for your launch. And if you've got the ones that you need hosted, have you got them hosted in YouTube or Vimeo? So there's a bit of a checklist for you to start off with and have a little think about when you are creating your launch. And even though it seems lots of different things, a lot of them are just small tasks that just need to be aware of. And the more organized you are with your launch, honestly, the easier it is. And it doesn't have to be completely overwhelming. So do let me know if you have any questions before I leave you to the rest of your day. And hopefully that has been helpful. Let me just stop sharing. Hopefully that has been helpful in looking at the actual tech options when you are looking at launching. So if anyone would like to share when they are looking at launching, do let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Don't forget to check out the other learnings in Women in Business members area. You have lots of different information there. Obviously this month, there's lots on launches, so do check out the other sessions, the other workshops. If you haven't caught them all live, do check out the sales funnel training. There's bot training in there. There's graphics training from Claire. So all the different areas that I've spoken about, there will be other training to complement this really, really well, specifically on different areas. And there's ads training. So there's lots of other training for you to go and check out that will complement launches. And if you have any other questions, I'm all across social media as Katie Keller Social. You are more than welcome to reach out and pick my brains. And the website is katiekellersocial.co.uk. So just get in touch if you need any further help. Other than that, I shall leave you to your day. Have a great one. Take care, and I shall see you soon. Bye.